So here we are, day 3, putting the Corvette back together. What do you want to tell us about your Corvette?
Well, let's see, I've owned it for about 45 years and drove it for quite a few years and then laid it up because it needed work. And it's taken a long time to get it where it is. And finally it's fallen back together. Slow process, got to try to remember stuff, try to learn all over again. And I sometimes have to do things twice because you don't put it together in the right order. But yeah, I'm happy to see it moving.
So there you go. Lots of reference to the book and the manual. Pictures are a little dated. Doesn't tell you the order of things. So lots of, I guess, putting the pieces together and trial and error. And hopefully a lot of the body and cosmetic stuff can be done. And it's a Phi-Tech you're putting on?
Which?
Phi-Tech?
That's what old guys like, eh? We like reliable stuff.
There we go, turnkey. So now we'll try and get this mounted on the car. Again, it's all about trying to get the pieces that could potentially get damaged out of the way and installed. Alright, so wrapped up day 3 on the Corvette. Doesn't look like too much has happened. Doesn't really feel like much has happened, but we did manage to get the rear bumpers mounted up and installed. Both sides we had left off here yesterday on that left bumper. Managed to get the right side on. The gaskets for the exhaust pipes coming through the rear, and got these little guys on the underside installed, which we noticed you actually have to put these on first. So we had to take these off and redo that, but everything is good. It's a learning process, and managed to get the windshield sorted out a little bit, and same thing happened. Managed to get the windshield in place and fighting to get some bolts on from underneath here installed, just to find out that this guy actually needs to go on first. So those bolts will be coming out tomorrow morning. We'll get that sorted out, and at least it is starting to look like a car again. Got the little scoop installed here, and that's about it. So exterior wise, maybe some side molding trim, and maybe get the trunk lid on, and from there be moving on to getting the intake manifold off to be able to install the Phi-Tech, clean up in here. There is a new aluminum rad for this thing and a bunch of other little tidbits, but that's pretty much the update. Again, it's a struggle fighting through, trying to learn how this car goes together every day, every step, every little nut and bolt. So we'll see you guys tomorrow for the 4th day of this father-son project.
Gotta remember, with new rubber, they're always going to be.
Yeah. I do think it needs to go that touch bit forward.
Well, I think it does. I think it's the gap here is too wide.
Just want to see what the left and the hinges push up on this guy, but
Well, that's because it's sitting down, eh?
right. So just going along here, getting all the weather stripping on. Got the deck lid test fitted using this 3hem weather strip adhesive. So you just run a thin bead of this, go along, put all the weather strip down, tape it in place, let it set up. Then we can get that rear deck lid on, and most of the larger pieces, with the exception of the hood, will be pretty much on the car. And I'll get back to trying to do some more of the trim on the sides The speed nuts and the fasteners there proved to be a little challenging. So there's little instructions with these guys, and they say with the speed nuts that you might have to sand down the studs, or you can punch out the opening on the nuts a little bit so that they'll fit over. So the ones on the flat surface here that goes up against the body of the car, I managed to just kind of push on with an 8mm 5/16 socket and got those started. The spears in the back here that kind of go into the fender, these ones are a little bit more tricky. I had to punch them out a little bit in order to get them started. So lesson learned, because I was trying to get all this stuff on once they were in the car, and then realized there was no way I was going to be able to do it without making sure that they were on first and started. So the key is get everything started before you get it installed. Joys of aftermarket parts, right? All right, so finishing up day 4. So don't know if you guys can visually see the difference, but managed to get all of the windshield on, and I would like to consider myself now a 1958 Corvette windshield expert, because man, there, like I said, if there needs to be a step-by-step guide for some of this stuff, but needless to say, managed to get it all on, got all the trim installed, brand new stainless hardware in the sequence and the order, because underneath this chrome piece is another piece that goes underneath here, and I had these on first. These had to come off again, which are attached underneath here, so on and so forth. Anyways, a little bit of a nightmare. Got past it, and now it's installed. It's now on the side of the car. This is where there's quite a bit of difference. So managed to get all of the trim installed and the little spears in the side of the fender there, and this is starting to look awesome. So you can see that the spears have been left in chrome. Those are an aftermarket piece, and all of the trim that goes around, which is originally stainless, those are aftermarket pieces that are on the car now that got blasted and painted in the gunmetal gray. So if any of you are familiar with the 58 Corvette, they're known to have a little bit more trinkets than some of the other years, and a lot of chrome. Needless to say, it's a car from the 50s. So wanted to just try and mix up or balance out and take a little bit of chrome out of the theme, leaving some, because some of it is nice, and these highlights, like those spears there, and the grille surrounds that, or the mouth, so to speak, that goes around the teeth in that front grille, the emblems, the windshield, the frames around the windows, I believe, are still chrome. So there's still going to be that little bit of chrome in the car, but not all of it that was originally once there. So managed to get the gas door installed today. Got the seals for the rear deck lid all glued down in place and the deck lid installed, so everything is fitting and sealing up really nice. I was actually surprised at how easy this deck lid installed without having to maneuver too much to get some really nice straight and even lines. The rear trunk, a little bit of tweaking still needs to happen on this one. Nothing is touching, but there is a little less of a gap on this side as opposed to this side. So want to play with this one a little bit more and try and just get it absolutely perfect. So that's it for day number 4. One more day, my dad's in town, and we'll see how everything goes. He was getting everything loose here on the top end of the motor. His lower intake manifold is ready to come off, valve covers, so that the Phytech system can get bolted on. And like I said, there is a new aluminum radiator for this car as well. So lots of stuff, guys, lots of stuff. Needless to say, it's going to need probably a couple more full weeks worth of work to get this thing done, because there's still the wiring, still the interior, and front suspension, brakes, and wheels and tires. Well, it's day 5. How do you feel about your progress?
Well, everything's been slower than it would like. Have to learn as you go. Do something and then find that you should have done something else first. And you got to take the one you did apart so you can do the one you should have done first. But it's coming. I think we've got more accomplished this week than I had expected. Mostly because of Chris, because he's fast and I'm not. But it looks like a possibility for hitting the road.
Yeah. I say 2 more full weeks.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, if Dale does all that brake stuff and the new gets the brakes done,
Yeah.
and then I don't think the whole manifold and stuff, but the rad has got to come out and go. The new rad go in, the aluminum rad.
Cool. Well, back to the door latches. So here I am working on the door latch assemblies. So this is the guy. It's been all painted up, blasted and painted. So one important thing was to lubricate all the moving parts and get everything sliding and moving again, which I have. One tricky guy is this arm here, because this arm attaches up to the actual handle mechanism, which is the one that allows you to open the door from the outside. So this piece actually has, you know, little tiny spring and washer and a little cotter pin that slides through the end of the arm here to keep everything in place. So it is it's interesting just getting all the latch assembly up in here. So sort of dreading tackling the window regulator setup, but it's gonna have to be done. I'm sure I can figure it out. Confident there. One thing that you might have noticed is there are no door locks anymore. The door locks have been shaved off the car, and the mechanism's removed. The new door panels are smooth here. When they come, actually, it allows you to cut that section out if you need, so we're just leaving them blank. And if you want in the car, you know, you cut the top, or chances are the top's not even up, and you just hop in the car or reach in and open the door and away you go. So not overly concerned about that. So we'll go ahead, get this latch in there, and then on the other side we got the striker, which bolts up against here. So got all those in the bag that was bagged and tagged from some time ago and cleaned up. So we'll get all that reinstalled and test the fit. Well, guys, this concludes the week of the 58 Corvette, and well, it's mid-Friday afternoon. Dad had to get on the road and got as much stuff cleaned up as we could and left on a pretty positive note. Now, the car is really starting to look like a car again. You know, a lot of the trim, a lot of the main body components, everything else have been installed. Dad did take out the distributor and the lower intake and the carbs today so that the Phi-Tech can get put on. Dale's probably going to be doing some work on the car next week, and he'll be focused on getting the Phi-Tech done, replacing the brake booster. If you guys can believe that master cylinder that you see there, that's actually new, and I don't know what happened to it. Maybe it should have been painted. But anyways, that master's coming out, and there's going to be a new booster and master system going in that will accommodate for the new disc brakes that he'll be installing. That's about it. A couple little minor details to take care of in terms of some trim. There's one little piece that didn't get painted in the gunmetal for the door, so I need to do that, and a couple other bits and pieces. So I'm going to be sandblasting those down, priming them up and painting them the same color. I got those guys sitting in here. So the one main piece that I need to do is this little kind of C-shaped piece here, as you can see here. So that guy forgot to get painted. So once we have this painted, I can put these other trim pieces on. Then I got these caps here. These go down in the license plate light area. So these guys need to go in here like this. Dad is going to order a new wiring harness for the car. He has the original one, but the wires, the coating is just so brittle. So it's better to just buy a new kit. And other than that, I'll be focusing on the window regulators and getting all the doors back together. Now, after a little bit of time today, I managed to get all of the door latch assembly sorted out and bolted on, which turned out real nice. Everything opens and closes really well. So I'm very happy about that. And I went through just making sure I had all the pieces for the window regulators and all the trim and all the assembly for the window stops and everything else. So I've found what I think is the right procedure and order of things to go on the door. The regulators had a couple bolts snapped off, so we have some nuts getting welded on there. So I'll extract the broken bolts and I'll get those cleaned up and painted and start focusing on the windows. There's a couple pieces of trim that go along the top here with felt on the inside. Those need to be ordered, so my dad's on that task. Other than that, it's been pretty cool to work on this, not only because it's a 58 Corvette, but because it is for my dad, and working with my dad, you know, it's those type of memories that are important, and I really hope that he is on the road and enjoying this thing before his 75th birthday. So I'm excited to hear your guys' feedback and what you think of this 58 Corvette and the project. I know it's not Fox body related, it's something different, but man, you got to have respect for a car like this. And if you guys are enjoying it, I'll keep documenting everything as I go along, and hopefully this thing will be on the road sooner than later. There's no excuses. Pretty much all the parts are here, so it's just that little last bit of assembly that's required, and I'm super excited to see and feel how this car is going to drive on the road. So stay tuned. Feel free to subscribe. Gonna have a dedicated playlist for this guy, and follow along, get those notifications, and we'll see you guys next time.